Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Focus. Today we're going to be hopping into Dan Cooney's popular record Said That. Shout out Dan Cooney for recently breaking 10,000 streams. I'm really excited to tap in with you guys.
I just wanna be with you. 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 You said you wanna be with me, why did you say that? Thinking I would stick around, go ahead and think that. Told you I was coming back, but now I just regret that. Letting go and leaving you, I wish I could've said that. Said you wanna be with me, why did you say that? Thinking I would stick around, go ahead and think that. Told you I was coming back, but now I just regret that. Letting go and leaving you, I wish I could've said that.
So to start, one of the things about my production that I always try to do is think about beyond just the inspiration of the record, is it the type of work that can stand for a while? So I like to work off of instruments and instrumentals that you can redo. Dan does a lot of acoustic shows, Dan does live shows, Dan performs. So you got to take these things into account. It's much easier to get an audience involved when they see somebody playing an instrument. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. So, just to illustrate that, I want to hop into, this record is really based off of this main guitar line right here. And I think it's a guitar line that works really well. I think it speaks to the things that Dan Cooney likes to play. And I think it's easily coverable. And I think that's important. If you break this song down to its bare elements, it's something that other people can cover. It's something that other people can get into. And I think that's important. I think it'd be cool to see a Dan Cooney record like Said That be on like Guitar Tab someday. You know what I mean? So you want to take those things into account. When I'm writing for other artists, you know what I mean? I'm always trying to tell myself, how can they use this record beyond just releasing it in streams? A song is a product. A song is an idea, and an idea is a product. It needs to be able to be sold different ways. This record needs to stand alone well as an instrumental. It needs to stand alone well acoustic. And that's how you end up making timeless records. So just to open this up, one of my favorite things about this record is this vocal sample.
I just wanna be with you. I just wanna be with you.
That's all arcade. Shout out Output. Output has helped me tremendously with my production. I feel Output has helped me take my production somewhat to a different level. One of the biggest things is ease of use and speed. I'm able to get work done quickly, and the work always sounds good in my opinion. So once you get out of there,
I just wanna be with you. I just wanna be
if
with
you hear
you.
these
I just wanna be with you.
something I
I just wanna be
really
with
like
you.
about this record is these open hi-hats. Somebody showed me Lucky. If anybody knows the rapper Lucky, he has this song with Chase. He's a couple songs with Chase the Money, but there was one instrumental that really, I just love the way they broke down how quick the beat was by using this open hi-hat. So I tried to emulate that. This beat is at 160 beats per minute, but we slow it down by using that open hi-hat. We slow it down by getting into, the different things that will make this record. It'll give it a pocket for Dan to work with.
You wanna be with me, why did you say? You said you wanna be with me, why did you say that? Thinking I would stick around, go ahead and think that. Told you I was coming back, but now I just regret that. Letting go and leaving you, I wish I could've said that. Said you wanna be with me, why did you say that? Thinking I would stick around, go ahead and think that. Told you I was coming back, but now I just regret that. Letting go and leaving you, I wish I could've said that. Said that, give me a reason.
One of the things about the chorus that I really like is the punch-in aspect of Dan's vocals. It's something that I found in a lot of Lil Peep records and a lot of Juice WRLD records. And I'm not necessarily saying that Dan is that type of artist. I think Dan draws a lot from indie rock. I think Dan draws a lot from an artist like Kid Cudi. But I think, at the end of the day, we got to know what we're trying to emulate, and we got to know what our target market is. So zeroing in on a specific genre in your records isn't always a bad thing, and moving a little farther out of your comfort zone isn't always a bad thing. So you have this really nice punch-in effect with his
Said you wanna be with me, why did you say that? Thinking I would stick around, go ahead and think that. Told you I was coming back when
he's coming in, as that initial line is ending. And for people who don't know, that's called a punch-in. And the way I like to do that is, okay, we got our lines down, we're just gonna bang it out bar by bar. I think it's also better because it's much easier to arrange. You could really break down the dynamic of the vocal. If you see here, we did some chopping to make sure Dan was nice and on time. And it's just much easier when you have those different takes to move them into place. Otherwise, you're going to have syllables laying on top of syllables. You're going to put your engineer in a tough position. It's really frustrating. So getting into that, we have this nice verse. Dan's verse lyric is mixed much cleaner than his chorus lyric. If you look right here, we actually have two backing vocals that are almost like they're a little driven, they're a little guitar pedalish, and they're both panned. It gives it nice atmosphere, and it gives it layers, it gives it width, but it's also subtle. So then when you get into the chorus, there's just this nice...
Give me a reason to just forget that. Everything we said to each other, you had to
As the beat gets simplified, his vocal also becomes not as harsh and not as aggressive, which I think almost speaks to a change in tone as to what he's saying as well. I think good records are all about dynamics, and I think great records are all about storytelling. And if you could tell a story with good dynamics in a vague enough way that people can really impress that story upon themselves, you really have a good formula for success.
Give me a reason to just forget that. Everything we said to each other, you had to end that. Never really knowing where my head's at, but I'm still thinking of you, I gotta end that. And I'm stuck in a maze and I don't know how to get out somehow. And I'm counting the days and I don't want this to be over now. And I know I'm dumb, but it really be better if I let it slip. What I really can't do is wait a while and let it sit. Said you wanna be with me.
And then we're back into the chorus. I always love a smooth transition between the verse to the chorus. Something I do, honestly, just to give sauce away right now, in a lot of my records, is right before the second chorus, I strip down the whole entire thing, and you could see it here. I took out, I believe that's a hi-hat line right there. Right here is the initial drum programming right there. And this is also that backup guitar, that dun 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 dun, which really drives the record forward. I personally feel, as someone who comes from a DJ background, introduced something interesting and new every 8 bars or every 16 bars. Music is music, patterns are patterns, and you gotta look at it that way. People are gonna get bored. I think having enough creative decisions in an instrumental will lead people back to it over and over and over again, whether that's on a short timeline or a long timeline. You never know. And at the end of the day, as an artist, as a musician, and as a songwriter, you need to make sure you're not writing for tomorrow, you're writing for 20 years from now. Like I said initially in this video, 20 years from now, Dan could play this with another guitarist acoustically, and regardless of where music has gone, this is going to have timeless quality because it can be broken down to an essence. And I think that's really, really important. So once you get back into the chorus, like we were speaking about before, you have this nice open hi-hat that's running relatively quickly throughout the song, and that's going to give the beat breath. It's going to open up a pocket in this otherwise chaotic, almost drillish type of emo trap record. One of the things that I love about this record in the second chorus is this wonderful automation we have going for that top line and the middle line of guitar. So right here, we're running Fruity Blood Overdrive. That's a Fruity stock plugin. I love FL Studio stock plugins. I low-key swear by them. Don't be using Sound Goodizer. That's not what I mean. But things like Transient Processor, Flex is a good synth that's built in with more recent FL Studio builds. And Blood Overdrive is something I use for a lot of things. Blood Overdrive is something I like to lay on backing vocals to make them thicker and a little gnarlier. I like to use Blood Overdrives on my guitar when I'm not using other plugins that don't come with FL. It depends on what kind of sound you're going for, but it's a sound that, since I started working in FL, however many years ago, I really enjoy the way it makes me feel personally. So if you look what's going on here, we have this wonderful transition into a breakdown, which we'll get into in a second. We have Blood Overdrive coming up towards the end of this chorus. You can actually, I'll solo the guitar so you can hear exactly what I'm talking about. So the guitar is going to be building an atmosphere with this reverb, and it's going to be building in drive and gain with the Blood Overdrive. And then we have this section of it, and then and you see how we build. And, you know, I really like the way that came out. You know, we have this interesting, more of like a talkish vocal that Dan did that I like to utilize things like that. I like to find, you know, you almost want it to clash. You almost want the clashiness of it to represent where the artist is in their career and in their time period. Not everything needs to sound so polished. Not everything needs to be at the right volume. Not everything needs to be mixed well. Not everything needs to be mastered correctly. If you're bringing an emotion to what you do that people can relate to, it's going to work time and time and time again. So, and after that, you know, you get this chorus, you get this nice outro.
Said you wanna be with me, why did you say that? Thinking I would stick around, go ahead and think that. Told you I was coming back, but now I just regret that. Letting go and leaving you, I wish I could've said that. Said you wanna be with me, why did you say that? Thinking I would stick around, go ahead and think that. Told you I was coming back, but now I just regret that. Letting go and leaving you, I wish I could've said that.
I just wanna be with you. I just wanna be with you. I just wanna be with you.
Something I really enjoy the most about this record that we did is Dan wrote a couple of different choruses to this when we were working in the studio. And I feel like I distinctly remember us talking at the time, you know, what's the honesty of what you're trying to say? Where is it that you're coming from? I think that's really important. I'm all about and if you check the Produced by Focus Jordan playlist now on all platforms, you could even see it in the description. Where's the honesty? Why aren't we writing honest records? And how can we get back to an honest record? Because 10 times out of 10, if you're speaking your truth, that's going to be the most important song you do every single time. And that's how we got to that chorus. You said you want to be with me. Why did you say that? And then by repeating that said, that say, that's how you also get those really catchy hooks. I think more than anything, if you're a writer and you're writing for yourself or you're writing for other artists, don't forget your internal rhyme schemes. Internal rhyme schemes are exciting, they're fun, and double internal, outternal rhyme schemes, I don't know if that makes sense. But when you rhyme the last two words of a line with the next last two words of the next line, so your bar isn't just ending on a B and then a B. It's almost like an A, B, A, B. I feel like that gives it a lot of breath. It gives it a lot of momentum. That's something I picked up from Grime. I'll hear a Grime MC end the same bar end four different bars with the same word, but the word before it is always different. And I always think that's really cool. So yeah, those are some things that I picked up, maybe even subconsciously working on this record. Again, I think it's really important. Separate yourself as a producer by using automation. Maybe I'll go over how to make some automation in another video. This is really my first time hopping in. Um, if you're creating a fast record, try to find instruments that are going to slow it down. Try to program your snares in a way that still give your artist a pocket to work in, and try to use instruments that can translate to other performances. Remember, good artists have good records. Great artists have timeless records. Like always, hop into your work a little bit every single day. Try to just be a little better than you were yesterday. And like Nick Saban says, do your job.